Yeah, I would say winery is 50-50, maybe 50 up north and 50% down south. But I would say maybe 80% of the fruit is grown down south, and I would put maybe 65% of that in Cochise County. So the fruit moves all around the state, but what's made in the state, the winery is probably 50% up north. Yeah, probably what Kent said here is probably similar to Washington State, where most of the fruit is grown in the eastern part of the state and sent over. And just to add to what probably, and this is a conversation we've had before, I think if you look around the world, great food and wine culture, it kind of grows up together. So there are these cultures you look at where you associate certain wines with certain foods in certain regions, and I think that those they grow up together. And I think that's happening here now. We have such an interesting, a unique spot in the world, and rather than emulating what we've seen elsewhere, which is, I think, maybe happened for a while. People are getting confidence in what we can do here in Arizona, and we're starting to see food and wine that reflects the unique conditions of our state, which are particularly harsh at times, but also really beautiful. And so I think you can see that in some of the food and wine. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Yes.
Because you've got this delicious wine here, and it's a 2010 next to the 2007.
Yes.
I was always under the understanding that a younger Chardonnay is what you would go for. Can you correct my knowledge then?
As far as
the year.
Oh, the year.
Interesting. The vineyard was.
Yeah. That's a good. For white wines, I think it's very. I think it's exceptional when a white wine ages well. It's probably the exception to the rule. I think there are some well-made white wines that will age. My wine is made to drink right now. This white wine is made for immediate pleasure. And I think what's exceptional about this other one, it actually reminds me a lot of Chardonnay, but it's a rediscovered indigenous grape variety from Italy called, I'm not even that familiar with it, Roschetto, which they think is related to Greco. And I think it's actually one of the interesting things about this wine is it tastes so vibrant and fresh right now. Being, yeah.
Were there any other questions?
Does Southern Arizona have any wine festivals? I know they have like different festivals, very common in Napa and Sonoma and different areas of California. Does Southern Arizona start to have, events?
Yeah, you'll see events. I think, yeah. I mean, the answer is yes. There's places that you can look online to find out, but I think most wineries, like Kent has, yeah, we all do different things at the winery. Kent has a library tasting. We'll have something similar next weekend. Cool. Everybody does their own little thing.
Interesting.
Yes.
Could I just ask for a little more explanation about what was the term? The culinary identity of Arizona. What are the culinary trends that identify this area?
So the question was, what are the culinary trends that represent Arizona that are going on right now? And of course, Papa can answer that.
Culinary trend, I guess, is one thing, but I think that the movement or the shift that we've been seeing, of course, over the years, which some operators have been doing for instance, like Chris Robertson from Rancho Pino. She cooked in California for many years, and she opened up Rancho Pino, which is located on Scottsdale Lincoln, I think maybe 15, 16 years ago. In terms of a trend, I don't want to say that it's California-esque, but I think everybody's becoming even more aware about knowing where your food comes from. And I know that the term locavore has been used a lot lately, but there are so many benefits to, of course, not only minimizing carbon footprint or keeping money in the state, but knowing Kent and being able to have a relationship with someone who made your wine, having a relationship with someone that grew your vegetables, having a relationship with someone that is cultivating indigenous tepary beans or legumes from Sonoita, if you will. I think it's even bigger than just where is Arizona going. I think that when you go to places like San Francisco and New York, you feel the pride is palpable in the air about, collectively speaking, how they feel about their city. And I've been in Arizona on and off since 1987. And I remember when I first came here, in terms of diversity, it's always been a very transient state with a lot of families that have been here for a long time, but anymore we're turning into a community that is trying to develop their own identity. And a great example is even going to the Old Town Farmers Market, where you'll always run into Bob McClendon or Maya Daly. Sam Pillsbury from Pillsbury Wine Company is there. So it just, to me, we're turning into a community-driven city that we have these magnificent winemakers, and we have farmers, and we have people that harvest honey. So for me, it's really, it's community, it's being proud of who we are and where we come from. And although it's totally permissible to look for a muse of inspiration outside of the state, I think that we have so much going for us right now in Arizona. Yes, my dear lady.
Tell us again what your restaurant is.
It's a little gin joint about 5 minutes away from here. It's called F&B, which is an industry term that means food and beverage. It's a 32-seater. The food, I'm very lucky that I represent my partner and chef, Charlene Badman, who's a great cook. What gives us a great deal of distinction is the fact that I decided to pour these gentlemen's wines, and the fact that you can actually go over there and have a good dynamic range of Arizona juice to pick from, if you will.
One follow-up. Todd, tell us about the experience when you go down south or even up north. Is it someplace that you can like make a weekend of, or are there plenty of tasting rooms? Or
Yes. It's to the point now where if you were to come to where Ken and I have our wineries, there's I think 10 wineries that you could visit. There's food there's a wonderful restaurant next to our winery that produces food that is of the region. That's they source their stuff from there. And then the same thing up north. So you could from Phoenix, it's probably how far to go up north? Maybe 4 hours?
Just 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. I'm sorry. Yeah.
To Cottonwood
and then about 3 hours down to where we are. And then to how it looks, it's interesting when you pull, like where Ken and I grow grapes. If you pull off the I-10 just past Tucson onto 83, you start to climb, and there's a point where the scenery changes from what you see on the I-10 to where it looks like Spain, and that's one of the things that drove us to plant some of the varieties we did initially. Is it feels like it's definitely a unique spot in the state. So hopefully that answers your question.
yes.
The answer was yes. Thank you.
The gentleman in the glasses.